welcome to Against All Odds podcast. I'm your girl, Venom Vixen, and I'm actually pretty excited to be here for the first episode of the Against All Odds podcast. And you know what? This brother right here, Johnnie, the celebrity contractor. How you doing?
I'm good.
Now, this is actually his podcast, but I'm going to do my Mona Scott real fast, and I'm going to hijack this thing real quick. You know what I mean?
Let's go.
You feel it?
Let's
you
go.
feel me? You ready to answer some questions?
Yeah.
All right, let's get a little
Let's get our little sip on.
A little champagne.
Okay.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. There you go. Pour it up, brother.
I need that.
Day drinking.
Little tongue wet.
Yeah. There we go. Cheers, my brother.
All
All
right.
right, here we go. Little cheers. Hey, here you go.
Against all odds.
Against all odds. All right. Let's just get to it. Why now? Why tell a story now?
Because, I actually dropped this story back a couple of years ago, and it was by accident. You know, I was more embarrassed about like how my life ended up, so I didn't really want to tell nobody. But it took me going on a vacation, you know, after all the ruckus went through, and taking my nephew out, and after a couple of drinks, it just telling my nephew really kind of motivating him. So I'm telling my story to him, but I didn't know he was recording me the whole time.
So he was like, "Damn, really?"
Right. So I end up, after I went to sleep, I woke up and my phone was going crazy.
Okay.
Facebook was just going crazy. I had different people calling me out of California. Matter of fact, I had this lady from California. She said she was smoking crack, and she left and she went to rehab.
Mm-hmm.
Off of just hearing my story.
Damn.
And from that moment on, because first I was embarrassed. When I actually looked at the video, I was really more embarrassed thinking about what people was actually thinking about me. You know what I'm saying? Because I kept it 100. I ain't lie about nothing. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. But then it actually turned to a positive situation. So with me, and now that I'm trying to grow spiritually and growing my business and, you know, finding my purpose in life, now I decided to retell my story. And so, you know.
Okay. All right. So let's get to it. What's the story? How did you get to be Johnnie, the celebrity contractor?
Okay. Johnnie, celebrity contractor came from, I was actually doing so many houses, and, you know, but I was still in the hood. So I was going back telling my friends, showing my friends my work. Right? And then as I was showing their work, and they was like, man, bro, that's a celebrity home you did? Mm-hmm. I was like, nah, that's a regular person.
Yeah, your work is dope now.
Bro, appreciate it. So I kept hearing it. So other people kept saying it. And some of the jobs I walk into, so it'll be other guys that come into the job, and they'll be like, and they'll come to me and ask me like, hey man, what celebrity live here after we finish? So I was like, you know what? All right. I'm Johnnie, celebrity contractor.
Yeah, you giving him that celebrity makeover.
Right. I did one celebrity, and that was Tom Brady, but I did it for a company actually.
Okay, you was in Pretty Boy House.
Yeah. Oh my God, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. You know, and I'm a Tom Brady fan. Shout out to Tom Brady. I'm sorry how they got Tom Brady out of the day. He almost
that shit was hilarious. Shout out to the GOAT.
Yeah, he wanted to slap somebody. He wanted to get on his Will Smith, didn't he? But anyway, yeah. So that was working for this big company, a $1 billion company in Boston. So now I took the name and I just ran with it.
Okay.
That's why.
So okay, that's the good shit. All right. How did we get there?
Okay, let's take a drink.
Tell me about how we got there.
How we got there?
Cause you ain't come out the womb swinging a hammer now.
Nah.
All right.
Definitely didn't do that. I came out the womb doing other things.
All right. So how we did it? How we got there?
Well, it's a long story. It all started, you know, I never thought I'd be doing this for real, for real.
Okay.
I thought I'd be your next famous rapper or your next famous trafficker.
Okay.
You know. But God ain't had that in his plans.
Johnnie Freeway.
Right. But anyway, like I was going through some things and I got caught up with the law.
Okay.
And this is probably about the 8th time I was in jail.
Ooh, child.
And I finally got it to a point where, you know, the last time I got locked up, you know, they came deep. They came with helicopters and it was like a movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they was calling me the neighborhood drug dealer and stuff like that. So that put a fear in me at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like my life was about to be over. So, you know, while I was locked up, I started reading the Bible some. And, you know, a couple of things illuminated to me. Okay. Like as far as purpose and the story of Job and how he lost everything. So those two things stuck out to me, right? So, excuse me. So I told God, I said, you know, one night sleep, I told him if I get out of this situation, I'll change my whole life.
Oh, you're making a deal.
I'm making a deal.
The prison deal.
And I'm pretty sure I ain't
the only one. How many times God done heard that one
before? I'm pretty sure I ain't the only one did it. But I got out. When I got out of jail...
Wait, slow down.
Okay.
Who picked you up?
My daddy.
Oh.
Yeah, he picked me up.
That's good.
Yeah. He ain't cussing me out like I thought he was, but, you know, I'm out.
Sometimes that silent shit is worse.
It is, but I ain't
as
thinking
a parent,
about that.
You got to be like.
But you ain't thinking about that, though. I mean, the first time I get out, all you can see is light. You know what I mean? When you see that sunlight, it's a different story. You don't get no sunlight back there. It's dark back there. You know what I mean? So that was definitely a whole different. That's all I thought about was freedom. You know, get back outside. Let's do it again.
Oh, we done forgot our deal already, didn't we?
Yeah, I did it all again. I told God that, but that don't mean I fully changed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, because how you gonna change, like, straight out? First of all, everybody say that when they end it. Yeah. So as I got free, it was like, all right, I'm free. But one thing I had to do is I had to get a job. Okay. And nobody would hire me with a felony. Okay. So it got me in construction. Okay. So I started working for this guy doing apartment complexes. Okay. And I didn't want to be there, but I've been there because it was paying. And then I realized, hell, I could make money on the street while I'm working. Because mostly everybody on the job, they did drugs too. So I was getting 2 checks on Friday. You were double dipping. Yeah. A little bit of this. So now I don't want to lose my job because if I lose my job, I lose my customers. Okay. Right? Okay. And there was a girl involved back then. I ain't gonna say no names, but it was a girl back involved. And she, during that time, she kind of was like, you know, belittling me a little bit. You know what I mean? And that turned my motivation to something different. Okay. Okay. So, like, and then the boss man, he called me. One day the police came to my apartment complex. And my apartment complex was out there in the apartments that I was working in. Okay, I got you. So the police came to my apartment and my boss man told me about it and asked me, did I need anything for him to grab before they go in? And I was like, yeah. You know, I got to work. I got guns inside the apartment. Dang. And I freaked out a little bit. I'm like, I didn't want to have to tell him, like, you know, that's the last thing I want to do. So I told him, and he looked at me crazy, but he went and did it. Because he needed me at this time. Okay. Because he couldn't work. Nobody would want to work with him because he was an asshole. So nobody wanted to really work with him. So he did it. Then he came back and he told me after the situation, he's like, man, you're never going to amount to nothing, bro. He said, all you're going to do be a street thug. He said, you're going to be picking up garbage. And I looked at him like, ain't no way you just told me that, bro. Even though, like, it could be true if I keep heading down the wrong road. still, why you tell me that, bro? Like, so when he told me that, it put motivation on me to, I was like, all right. And I looked at him, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be better than you. I ain't tell him that out loud, but I'm looking at him like, watch, I'm gonna take over your company one day. You know what I mean? I went and told my homeboys everything. I told them, I said, yo, bro, I'm gonna be the best contractor in the world one day. They looked at me like, nigga, please. Nigga, what you gonna do, man? You Jay Smoke, you know what I'm saying? That's the old me, but anyway. I'm like, all right. And from that point on, that's when I started getting very serious in that craft and I started mastering it.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Jesus was a carpenter.
Yes, he was. Shout to that too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you built your business. It's nice that, it's always the naysayer. And you know what? He might not even been a naysayer. He just knew how to talk to you. See what I'm saying? Like a lot of people out here want to say, talk to me nice. That don't always work. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You need somebody to tell you, you know what? You keep doing this shit, you ain't gonna be shit. You see them dudes on the side of the road, them jumpsuits, they're gonna be you.
Yeah.
They're gonna be you.
It take that a lot.
So salute to him. You needed that.
Oh, I did. I
You should thank that man.
I gave him his roses.
Send him a goddamn fruit basket for Christmas.
Nah, he still owe me some money though.
Goddamn.
Some bitch.
It was about to be a beautiful story. And
Yeah, he still owe me some money. I need that. I don't know. So, but salute him for the other part though. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
You got negative influences and you got positive influences. So.
But I always believe in the negative influences. I think that they're planted there is for you to see that they're negative. It's very important for you to be able to see that.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I had a point in time in my life where I was like, 19, and I said, I got a best friend in jail and one in the grave. Where am I? What am I doing? What am I doing? You know what I mean? You like, wait a minute, what am I doing? Something about this picture, this ain't how I was raised. You know what I'm saying? How did this happen? How did I get here? You know what I mean? So you start contracting. Did you first start, you worked for some people. When did you strike out on your own?
All right. When I started my own, when the same boss man we talking about start owing me money, he disappeared.
Oh, contractors.
Right. Mm-hmm. He disappeared on like $6,500. And I was living on my cousin's couch at the time. Mm-hmm. I was living on my cousin's couch at the time. And he, and I'm looking for him, but I can't go to work because I haven't been paid in about a month. And first of all, at this point, me and him had the same skills. So he started subbing jobs out to me. Mm-hmm. So that's how he disappeared. So I've been working. He like, you get paid 30-day net after you finish your job. So as I'm working, he disappeared. And the whole time working, it's like going on almost 2 months now. And it getting to a point where I don't even have money for gas.
Damn.
And people in the hood and my peoples, they thinking I'm doing drugs or something. Or what's wrong? Like treat me like a bum, for real.
Cause you going to work.
Cause I'm going to work, but I'm coming home with no money.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to the hood and asking my homies like, yo, bro, let me hold $20. You know what I mean? And they do it. You know what I'm saying? But everybody else looking at it like, yeah, he a bum. I don't know what he doing with his money, but so at that time, what happened was I ended up finding a ride to the job site and to look for him. And when I went to the management, they said, nah, we don't, he haven't shown up. But they panicking too, because it was like they had 3 different contractors that was trying to do the job, but they couldn't do the job. So that means my boss man was the only person that could do the job. And me. Because I was literally a mirror effect of him.
Okay.
So they end up calling me and asking me to take his job.
No, that's right.
So I didn't want to be the boss. I just ended up being the boss.
Okay.
It was like it was planned. And I did a great job. And then I moved out. I moved to Boston. They found out about me all the way in Boston from here, a billionaire, and he wanted me to come run his company. So he paid me, he moved me down there, gave me a flight, put me in a hotel, gave me a van, car, and credit card.
Okay.
And I started running his company. And then you know, after a while, I was like, I think I lost my license, so I couldn't work for him no more. He called me and he had to fire me because I mean I'm the boss man running his job and I can't do nothing without no license. So I got fired.
God dang.
And I got sent right back to Columbia, South Carolina.
Right.
Yeah, shot on that too.
Yeah, we back in Columbia.
Back in Columbia.
So I'm back in Columbia, fam.
Yeah.
All right. So when you got back to Columbia, who did you stay with? Did you save your money in Boston, or you was out there just doing it?
I ain't gonna lie, I ain't saved nothing.
God dang.
I saved a little bit. I came home with about $12,000.
Okay.
$12,000. But when I came back, I went to Atlanta. I went and balled out. Then I came back and I kind of balled out a little bit. But it still wasn't a bad situation yet because I had remodeled. I fully remodeled a trailer that used to be a smoker's house. Mm-hmm. I fully remodeled before I left. So I had a place to live when I came back.
Okay.
Right? So, but it was me and my brother, me and my homeboy, right, when I came back. So, you know, it was like, all right, I come back to a place at least, you know. And that's when I really started working on my own. And like, all right, it's time for me to step up and do it. I done learned how to run this man business and this company, so it's time for me to take it to another notch.
Lessons. That was another blessing. You got a chance to see the inner working. That's what I always say. Every time I leave a goddamn job, I quit in a minute. But I walk away learning another business. I'd be like, oh, okay, I got this. I can do this. I can do this.
That's the part I be trying to preach to people. If you don't learn from your lessons, you ain't hitting on nothing. You'll never get past it because everybody got to go through something. You see what I'm saying? But you got to learn from that shit. And, you know, me, I'm the same way like you. I quit a lot of jobs and I just took what I had new with me. You know, I worked different small construction jobs in between, which I picked up different trades I took with me. Mm-hmm. You know, I really didn't quit. They fired me for other different things, you know what I mean? Because I ain't been no good worker for real. I really didn't want to work. But I just did what I had to do at the time. Mm-hmm. But when I got back in, I started my own business. I realized life was hard. And that first year, I had no customers.
Okay.
And I got in a car accident.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's about right.
When I got in a car accident, that was it. And I was stuck in the country with no ride to work. And my supposedly best friend, of about, you know, a couple $100, kicked me out the crib. And at that point, it was like, that's the most bottom I ever been in my whole life. And I did so much for him, man, like growing up, and took care of him when I was up and stuff like that, for him to kick me out the crib. The same house that I remodeled. See, he rented it and it was in his name though. So, but he ended up, you know, kicking me out. And then I got to the point then when it was like, damn, I ain't got nowhere to go for real now. And I blame a lot of stuff on me too because I wasn't all righteous and doing the right thing by people. So I burned so many bridges. I'm really out here alone in the middle of the ocean. Mm-hmm. So first thing first is I had to learn that accountability. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm homeless now for real. I don't have no car, no phone, no money, no clothes. I'm really out here like a real live homeless person. But in the mix though, I didn't feel like it. Cause in my head, I knew who I was. I was Johnnie the celebrity contractor. Okay. Whether you seen it or not. You seen a homeless person, but I seen a whole different person. I already knew that I still was gonna be rich.
Okay, so you was out on the street.
I was on the street. I was actually sleeping underneath people's porches and disappearing before they wake up to go to work in the morning.
Damn.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah. Shout to that.
Yeah, definitely. Shit, yo. But I tell you what, if anybody know me, if I'm gonna pay anything, I'm gonna pay my goddamn rent. I don't give a fuck. Y'all can take it all over. But that's some shit. that I don't fuck around with rent, mortgage, whatever shit. I get nervous soon as that shit got to get paid. I don't give a fuck. We won't eat that shit. That's hardcore.
That's the worst feeling ever, though.
Yeah, that's hardcore.
Especially when you having, at least used to having used to a place to go. That really what it was. Like, I really could have went back to, like, my dad's home, but, like, I was so embarrassed.
Right.
At this time of my life, at my age, that I didn't tell nobody. I just stuck it out.
So you just disappeared?
I disappeared off the map, off the whole grid. My family probably didn't see me about 2 years.
So what did you do to eat?
I worked.
So you would find like day work, things you can get paid during the day.
Little jobs. $50 here.
Yeah.
$50 there, doing jobs, ins and outs.
Okay.
And then I met a pastor.
Okay.
The pastor was the start of a new me. I met the pastor and he had a $150 job for me. And I did that job. And then he had another job for me. He was like, look, I don't feel like having to pick you up. So I have a transportation company and I got an extra van that I give you and $500 if you come do this job for me.
Okay, all right, we're moving up, all right.
So mind you, this van is worth probably about $400. And the job was at least a $12,000 job, right? Mm-hmm. So that job probably took me like a month and a half, month or 2 months to do.
And the good pastor only gave you $500?
And give me $500 in this old van. And then I couldn't get the van until I finished. So I'm stuck, still homeless. Okay. Right?
Good pastor.
But I'm knowing once I get this van, ain't no stopping me. I know this. And while I'm doing it, I'm kind of, I'm like, all right, don't worry about it. Because I'm thinking and I'm working and thinking. So by the time I finished the job, I went through it. The first van that he gave me, it was a dud. The whole transmission went out as soon as I drove it. And he knew that. He knew that shit. Hey, and he didn't tell me. So when I tell him, he tried to make me keep it. After I did all this work, he tried to make me keep it. But I'm like, no, bro, it's not going down like that. So I made him, and he brought another van out that did work, the one he didn't want to give me. That worth about $600. $200 worth more than the other one. The other one should have been free. But I got that van, and then, once I got that van, I got a job. I got a $3,500 job.
Okay.
Then after that, it was an $8,000 job. Then after that, I had a $24,000 job.
Okay.
I'm up.
Okay.
Then I had a $35,000 job, which is I had to hire a crew. The same guy that used to work for me, that owed me that money, I ended up hiring him.
I wouldn't have paid him shit.
I did. That's the thing. That's how I got my money back.
Don't do that. It's bad karma.
No.
I would have gave him his money and be like, I'm a better man than you.
That's how I got my money back. I was going to get my money back. It wasn't going down like that. Life is fair. And we good. I got my blessings. Somebody found my wallet last night, so I'm still good. So I'm in God's favor, right?
What is you, a Scorpio?
A full one. How you know?
Because y'all revengeful as fuck. See how I called that shit out? Saw how I called that shit out? Listen. See how I pulled that shit? Revengeful as fuck. See, I'm a peaceful Taurus. I like to bless you. I will bless you when you done fuck me. I'll bless you still.
Yeah, in the long run, but right then though, y'all is kind of food.
Watch your mouth.
Okay, all right, you right now. No problem. Mm-hmm. Shout out to my sister. She know what I'm talking about.
So all right, so now you up. You done got your get back on. Did we stay up? Or did we damn Johnnie?
Okay, what's the podcast called? Against All Odds, right? Of course it ain't just happen like that, happily ever after. I wish.
Damn Johnnie.
Yeah, it's a damn Johnnie coming up. It's a damn the world, you know what I'm saying? But as far as, okay, I got the jobs done, but okay, I took a barn, right, from the pastor. I took a barn, and it was horrible. Like, nobody is not to be lived in, right? Even as a homeless person, I still wouldn't live in there, right? But I felt like I had a mindset of marketing. So I was like, man, look, if I take this barn and turn this barn to something spectacular and move in it, but before I move in it, bring people to come see, because they're going to be like, you know.
Ain't no way.
It sit there, that barn sit there on the end of the road. Nobody wouldn't even stop by there. Just, you know what I mean? Like that. They wouldn't even know that was the same place. So I talked to the pastor, look, if I do that, can I move in? He was like, shit, yeah, if you can make that shit livable, you can live there.
Y'all love to go back. Now you gonna go back to the good pastor, the not so good pastor?
Oh yeah, you about to hear some more. But anyway, you know how these pastors is. We ain't gonna say nothing about all the pastors, but you know, make sure y'all get to know each other, know that Bible yourself, and know God yourself.
That's right.
Because if you don't, you get misled. You hear me? That's the rule of power. But anyway, I told him. He said yes, and he said he'd help me buy some of the materials. So I went to work. But as I'm working on that, I'm working on other jobs also. So I'm bringing in money.
Got you.
You know, I done picked up a good crew. I'm doing my thing right now. I done got that place to the point where we can live in it. I can start living in it, you know, but it took like 4 months. After about the 4th month, you know, I was like 2 weeks done, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, whoa, man, I'm putting stone, marble, and all. I'm talking about fancy. It ain't normal, you know. Like, I'm really doing some fancy stuff in here because that's my goal, to really promote that good work. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I was a homeless person with the skill of Michael Jordan. So that's why that's my plot. But 2 weeks in, right? So I got the van, I got tools, and now I went and bought a truck.
Okay.
So I done went and bought a truck. Now, you know, coming on up, I went and bought a truck. I got one of my guys that dropped me off down there to buy the truck. And on the way back, I'm just like, you know, I'm blessed. I'm happy. I'm like, boy, it's over with. Now I'm about to take over, right? So I get back. Yeah, keep holding. But I'm on my way back, right? And as soon as I get back, I meant to go to work. It was 9 o'clock at night. Like, I meant to go straight back to work, right? But I was walking around and looking how nice it was. I did an addition. I'm talking about I turned to 3 bedrooms, kitchen, 2 baths, master closet. I'm talking about nice, high ceilings. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that type. But anyway, I like, man, I ain't working tonight, man. I got a truck. I got my van. I'm about to take a break tonight and chill out, relax. I went to Waffle House. And while I'm at Waffle House, I get a phone call. And the phone call was, hold on. It gets me real hot when I say this. The phone call was, hey, where you at? Your house is on fire. Your house is on fire. Your van is blowed up.
Oh shit! Not the van too.
Yes. The van's blowed up. So when they called me, right, I'm in disbelief. I do not, man, ain't no way they said, man, y'all tripping, boy, not my house.
I'm gonna finish my smothered cup of fucking hash browns and.
No, I took it with me to go. I had to go just in case. So, but I'm driving though.
Thank God you got your truck.
I mean, yeah, thank God I got the truck.
You got the truck.
Right.
But then we talking about the van. The van got the tools in it.
Right. The van got all the tools in it.
The van done blown up. The van got the tools. This beautiful renovated barn.
All my work, all my life. 5 months worth of work. 5 months. I'm talking about long hours, not sleeping, not seeing family members, not doing nothing but working. 18, 19 hours a day, 4 hours of sleep. And I'm driving. And I pull up. I didn't believe it until I see all the ambulance. I mean, the fire department. Yeah. Once I seen the fire department, I knew, oh, it's over. Now I'm devastated because I can't believe I just did all this, and what I just went through to get here is all up in smoke right now.
Yeah.
You know, when I pull up, like the whole van is literally bones, nothing in there.
That's tough.
The house, so I knew somebody set it up because they set it, they put a gasoline and lit the back of the house with the gasoline with the rag hanging out it.
Oh.
And they blew the van. My van was parked right in front of the house, and they blew that up to smithereens, and that caught the front of the house on fire.
I don't think that was the old boss, do you?
Nah, he didn't know where I live at. I would have never told him. Yeah, I would have been, go. But anyway, nah, it wasn't him.
Jeez.
Ain't too many people knew where I live at. That's the crazy part, because now I'm like,
Process of elimination.
yeah, it's only 4 people that been.
You feel like you ever figured it out, or did you just have to chop it up?
I feel like I figured it out. Ain't nothing I can do to them now, though. They lucky.
You done told the story now, so you can't do shit.
Yeah, they lucky. Oh yeah, you're right. But I can't anyway. They lucky. The person I figured out it was, they locked up.
Karma.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. But I figured it out when they got locked up. So see how God was, because boy, I could tell you.
You had some dark days.
Yeah, some real dark ones. Shot.
I feel you.
But when they did that, that was it. I started all over from ground. But I did have that truck.
So you had the truck. No tools, but you had the truck.
Bad truck.
And a lot of knowledge.
And a lot of knowledge. That couldn't be taken away.
So then where'd you live?
Instantly, the pastor.
Good pastor.
Good pastor.
Good pastor to burn that
Good
shit
old
down.
pastor.
Pastor gonna get you in there and build them a new damn church, boy.
Good.
Goddamn, the good pastor.
Good pastor could have burned it down, but we didn't say that either. But you know, he popped up with a new place to live. Like, hey, here you go, a new house. How about rent this house out?
Come, my child.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm coming because I got nothing else to go. Where else I'm gonna go at this point?
It's funny, but it's not funny.
No, you're gonna laugh at it because it is funny. We made it past that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, we see how people is and who they really are. You know what I'm saying? But when you know that, you can make it past anything. There's nothing they can do.
Now, did you at least walk away with like the pictures to show what you turned, this into this, like to be able to make that part of your portfolio?
The
barn.
I got the outside, not the inside.
All right, we're gonna work on that.
Yeah, that's it. I just got the outside. I wish.
Yeah.
I wish. You know what I'm saying? Because that was probably, well, I done did so many memes of so many transformations, crazy right now. But that house right there meant a lot. That was,
Okay. So the good pastor got you a place to stay.
Right. And when he got me a place to stay, all right, you ain't no stopping. I came to God with that. All right, Lord.
You go making deals again.
You got me this far. I know I messed up.
Mm-hmm.
That's karma. Mm-hmm. So I had to take that. I had to take it. Like, yeah, they burned my house. Now I lost again. I lost everything for probably about the 4th time. I lost everything.
That's tough.
I had to take that, and I took it to the chin like a man and told him and taught the Lord and said, okay, I deserve it. I done did so much other stuff in the street to other people. That's all I get back. It's karma. Accountability.
Amen.
That's what it started with. So my come up actually started with accountability. Once I set to the Lord and counted what I did and didn't blame it on nobody else, didn't blame it on my dad, you know what I'm saying, like I used to. You know, I blame it on family members and stuff like that for what they did, or, how I grew up, and, my uncle and them, how they raised me and stuff like that, or the people in the streets and stuff like that. I blame them, but it really been me though. I mean, they part of it, but I forgive them. That's just life.
Yeah.
But I did so much to people that, who was me to judge them?
Right, because life is not so much about what happens to you, it's how you react.
Right. And if you react like a maniac, then that's how your life gonna end up. So when I reacted when I took that accountability, it was a deep breath, like, all right, what's next? See? Because most people get stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, about the fourth time, after that, most people get stuck. Most people be done kill themselves.
That's a lot.
You know, that's a lot to take in because I was almost in in that trance, but that accountability really brought me out. Like, all right, what's next? Let's take over the world. I ain't through yet. My story ain't done. And then guess what? I got a phone call, and from a house I did maybe about 6-7 months ago. From there, they called me, and they gave me all the contracts in Charleston, South Carolina, and Savannah, South Carolina.
Okay.
And I'm talking about over 60 houses.
Okay.
So now I have 5 crews. I'm traveling, new trucks, new cars. When I first arrived in the new house, I came with nothing but the truck. The truck acted up on me. Now I got 6 cars in the yard. I could pick one to drive, not to brag, but that's a whole whole lot of difference. But
you know what? You know what the difference was on this 4th time? You knew you could do it again.
I knew I could do it again.
See, a lot of people can't do it the first time. So the 4th time was like, all right, here we go again.
Here we go again.
But each time it gets better.
Right. Every time it got better. And
so now we up and stuck. Oh, we got another damn Johnnie.
Now we up and stuck.
Okay. All right. Woo! Jesus, now I can finish this shit.
Now we up.
He was stressing me out.
We up. We up
and stuck.
We
now.
Stuck. We right now. We in the present.
That's a hell of a story. That's a lot. And it is motivational. Because you're right, a lot of people to lose it all, like to be on the street. But you know, one other thing that you had that a lot of people got to always remember, you already had a vision and you believed in your vision. You know, when you had that vision and people just like don't believe in it and you were there like, you know what, okay, this is another setback.
Right.
And like you said, having accountability, growing into a man. I applaud you.
Thank you. It wasn't easy.
I know it wasn't.
But we're going to thank God in the shots.
Hey. Turn the water into wine. Let the church say.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Shout out to Glass by Chop and Smitty Go Getter.
Yes, keeping us going, baby. We in the building.
So, I was going to say what next, but this is what's next. Against All Odds podcast.
Against All Odds.
So now you ready to jump into the podcast seat? You ready to come into my world?
I'm ready.
All right.
I think I'm ready. Am I ready? You think so?
Listen, I mean.
First time, you know.
You know what I mean? I think you might be ready. Okay. I think he ready.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, let's get
what kind of guests are we looking forward to for the show?
All right. So now that I got that over with, that was just me bringing in and setting the tone. After that is we got a couple of guests that's coming in. They own businesses and they got their own stories also.
Right. Everybody got a story.
Everybody got their own story.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's basically we're speaking on to see what it took for them to make it against our odds. You know what I mean? And changing their life from here to there.
Right. You know, and it's interesting because like in life, the struggle of life is, like I said, is how you react. You know, I had a best friend who committed suicide in college.
Right.
And it was times in my career and times that I sat down and I said, damn, you just could have held on. Like, when I was doing things, I was like, you were supposed to be right here. You just couldn't see past the right now. Like, you just couldn't see nothing past this. Like, it was just awful, and you couldn't see past that. And people hearing stories like that, they need to be able to see past that. Like, right now, it's fucked up. But you got to know, if I can get through this, what else?
What else?
Bring it on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Bring it on.
What's
you
next?
know what I mean? So that's dope. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how the show grows and transitions and see you move into a host role.
Right. I think I'm ready for that.
You think you ready for that?
Yeah. A couple of runs, couple of practices.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's a show to be, you know.
If you can do all that other shit,
I could do that. Yeah, that's how I feel though. All the stuff I accomplished.
I'm glad you feel that way because I know I make it look easy.
Oh yeah, shout out to you, Venom. I'm so glad that you came.
Oh, absolutely.
You was definitely a blessing because remember, I think I had another guest that was supposed to be here.
Right.
But something happened.
Everything worked out. We just literally ran into each other. Like the other day.
Yeah, the other day.
Yeah. But when I told you on the phone, I said everything's lined up the way God wanted to line up.
Yeah, and it did.
Mm-hmm.
And it did.
Absolutely.
And I'm so thankful for it. You know.
No problem.
You helped me. Now it's time for me to grow my little wings and get my chest out and see what I got.
Yes, butterfly fly.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I guess I'm going to close out his podcast like it's mine. So it's been your girl Venom Vixen. This is Johnnie the celebrity contractor. This is Against All Odds podcast. Look forward to see the episodes coming soon. And I'm glad I was able to, grace your first episode and help you tell your story.
And I'm glad that you was able to help me.
For sure. Well, while we go ahead and finish up this little Bel Air right there, chop, chop, chop. Take us to the end, baby.
Against all odds.